Hey everyone, Mango7Roll here. How we doing today? Welcome to another episode of Epic 7, where we have Edward Elric balance adjustments. And you know, I wasn't gonna do one of these until like maybe another couple days till we got a new banner. But guess what? There's people who have been saving and not summoning for Elric because he's not good. Maybe he's still not good. I haven't read this yet, but you know what can help you in this little adventure trying to get you there? Amazon coins and the Amazon App Store in the link description down there below for free on PC as well. You can play Epic 7 on Windows 11. Honestly, a great place to get 20% off, and I do say 20% off all the packs in the store or anything else you want to buy, whether it's Leaf packs or Summon packs or Mystic packs. You might need it now. So again, Amazon coins, link down there below. Let's get it and let's get into this because I'm excited to see this. I'm actually kind of shocked they're changing him already. I did think he was pretty terrible when I used him, to be entirely honest. I did not really enjoy him. He was not very fun, not very good, and not very impactful. So here's hoping we get something good. So we would like to inform you that the 5-star Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood collab hero Edward Elric will undergo a balance adjustment. Initially, Edward Elric was designed to effectively neutralize enemies who apply debuffs frequently. However, upon reviewing many comments and suggestions from our heirs related to the hero's usability after it's released and the results of the internal data in the live client, we confirmed that the hero's utilization did not meet the level that we expected in its design stage. So I do want to say here that I'm not really familiar with what people did in RTA. I'm not an RPA player, I say it all the time, but I know from my personal experience in Guild Wars, somewhere I thought he would do okay. It just wasn't enough. He not only did he not do enough damage, even with insane gear, even with damage gear, even though he's kind of reflects himself as to be a tank of sorts, a bruiser of sorts with much HP, he just did no damage. He had no impact. Also, his dispel wasn't enough. It just like one debuff isn't enough anymore, because there's so many units that just do 2 at once, and then you have another person after them that also inflicts 1, so you're like dispelling 1 debuff and nothing matters. I've used him in about 5 battles now, and pretty much every single one he's had some sort of hampering debuff that has nullified his usefulness. Usually decreased hit chance or decreased attack or something weird like that. So accordingly, we would like to inform you that we will receive a balance adjustment unless there is a rerun. Collaborating limited heroes cannot be acquired after the current drop rate period upends. So we decided to apply the balance adjustment within the drop rate period. That's really cool. This is a really fast turnaround, and I'm pretty excited about this because I understand people would be very pissed off if they did it afterwards. So this is really cool. So okay, they're just changing one thing, and that's his passive. So, after being attacked, when the caster has a debuff, dispels 1 debuff and activates Rise. So, that's a little unfortunate to me because it's still only 1 debuff, right? And now Rise attacks all enemies with the ground thorns, dispelling 1 buff and inflicting a random debuff for 2 turns before increasing the combat readiness of the caster by 20%. And gives him increased damage dealt. So he definitely needed the damage dealt. I don't know if his skill 1 and skill 3 did enough damage. It felt like they didn't, but maybe they did because mine was always hampered in some way. And 20% CR is also pretty sick, considering I believe he gives 50% CR, right? So he's going to have a 70% boost if he procs that, which is pretty fantastic. And this is a hard line. I really wish they would say how much his damage dealt was increased, because we really don't know. This could be what, like 5%, or it could be like 50. So let's just read what it says. First, the cooldown of equivalent exchange will only be applied to Rise, so that it dispels a debuff every time he is attacked without any cooldown. This change will help him deal with enemies who can inflict multiple debuffs. Secondly, increased combat readiness will be added to Rise. Rise will increase his CR by 20% so that he can use his skills more frequently and contain enemies more effectively, as he can take his turn faster after using Rise. So lastly, Rise will increase damage, as Rise, ! Has powerful effects of dispelling one of the enemy's buffs and inflicting a debuff for 2 turns. Its damage was set relatively low. However, it has been confirmed that it has low influence against enemies who inflict debuffs frequently, due to its low damage and how it inflicts a random debuff. Therefore, it will increase damage. So the balance adjustment for the 5-star Edward Elric is scheduled to be applied on the 1st. So this is something other people can test if you're on the fence of whether to summon for him. And we expect Edward Elric to be used in various content with this balance adjustment. And once again, we apologize for how this balance adjustment is applied during the drop rate up period. We'll try to continue to improve the heroes in our game so that every character can be utilized to our heirs. So I have a little bit of concerns on this. Again, this is just my perspective, just when I've used him very infrequently because he's died often and it's not done much often. But I found that the biggest problem I had with him was his debuffs. He not only never really landed an important debuff, and it often got resisted, or they had immunity or something like that, and they had to pass a couple different 15% checks because you've got to dispel and you've got to do a random debuff. I believe they're two separate checks, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but the dispel will go first, and then inflict a random debuff could be resisted after that. I may be wrong in there, but I'm kind of curious on that. But the most important part about him was it felt like he was supposed to be an anti-debuff unit. And this does not really cover that, right? Like they specifically say here, where was it? It has been confirmed that it has low influence against enemies who inflict debuffs frequently due to its low damage and how it inflicts a random debuff. So influence against enemies who inflict debuff frequently. So I don't see any solution to that problem here. I feel like that's still exactly what they said was a problem is still a problem. So I'm not entirely sure how that's going to work. That said, maybe with an increased damage dealt situation we've got here with his skill 2, we may be able to build him like I had originally built him. And if you remember, I had him at something like, I had him at a lot of HP, right? Like 27,000 HP, and he was really bruisery, but he did quite literally 0 damage, even with a decently high crit damage, and again, damage dealt scales proportionate to the caster's max HP. And I wonder here if we can take a look at the Epic 7 damage calculator and see if it's in there again, and see what we get here. So let's take a look at Edward. And we've got, let's do no artifact proc because he's probably not using one, right? And let's go attack. Let's stay at 2200 because I don't think he's going to have too high attack. I think he's going to have like something like 320 crit damage. Let's say that. We can also give him not pen set. I don't think pen set is going to be doing too much. Maybe it's useful, but not sure. We can have the target defense like 1582. We can have caster's max HP here. Mine was at 26,000, for example. And we can see his skill 2 here, and skill 1 and skill 2 and skill 3. They don't really do anything, right? Like crit 6k, skill 2 crit was 3,000, and skill 3 crit was 11,500. If we switch to pen set, goes up to 13, so a little bit extra damage there, which is unfortunate. But if we go down to like 19k and up his attack to like 3,200, we can see a pretty decent chunk of damage there as well, right? So he scales pretty well with that sort of thing. So let's go back to 2,000. Let's go to like crit damage 350. And how much damage is it going to need to increase to make this worthwhile? That's something I'm still unsure of, right? Because 3,200, like, you're gonna have to do, like, it's to the point where it's almost nothing, right? Like 3,200 damage in this state of the game is almost nothing. You've got the healing people do, you've got the barriers, you've got mitigation, you've got all those sorts of things, right? Like, that's basically gonna do no damage. So I'm kind of interested in what sort of stuff will happen. We can also attack stack this up to 3 because this goes 3 times, and we can do 20k with the skill 3. So maybe the situation is make him as fast as possible like I did in my other video, but who knows? I don't know what I think about this, but anyway, let's see. So thank you so much for watching. Use Amazon coins in the description down there below to get 20% off all of the things, and I'll talk to you all later. Bye, everybody.